Hi, welcome to Access TV. I'm Imtiaz Popat, and I'm with Jean Swanson, housing advocate, who came in a strong second in the recent city by-election, sending a strong message around housing issues. Now, Jean, the mayor, responded to the results of he came in a strong second, but he said that the city council has failed the city on housing issues, obviously commenting on the success of your campaign. Although you didn't win, you came in strong second. What does that say to your campaign in terms of that response and how your campaign went?
Well, I think we had a really good campaign. I think we had a lot of young people working really, really hard and a lot of artists working on it. And our message was we wanted a rent freeze, we wanted a mansion tax, and we wanted the city to do more to prevent rent increases using the powers that it has. So we pushed those. We got, I think, about 6,000 signatures on a petition for a rent freeze. We had a demonstration in front of the most expensive house in Vancouver, Chip Wilson's house. It's worth $75 million. And we presented him with a fake notice of assessment for about $1.5 million, which is what he'd pay if we had our mansion tax. And we also said that we wanted to end homelessness right away in the first year with modular housing. So the beauty of the mansion tax is it could provide the money to do that in 1 year. And then if you kept having the mansion tax for succeeding years, which we would like, then you could build hundreds of units of social housing for other people that need it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you didn't win the election, but you came in a strong second, which is a victory in itself. And it sent a strong message around the issues. You eclipsed Pete Fry from the Green Party last month when you came in from third place to second place, and your campaign was a roar when that happened. But it sends a clear message, and the mayor has responded to that. What has City Council and the mayor done since to respond to that message? And the mayor said that they have failed on dealing with housing issues.
Well, since then they have, well, I guess it was before then they decided they were going to do the 600 modular units for homeless people. Well, we need over 2,100, so 600 isn't enough. But 600 is more than they had come up with before. And they're coming up with a new housing plan at the end of the month. So who knows what's in that. But, I mean, they have failed. The mayor said that he was going to end homelessness, and it's higher than it's ever been. The average rent for people seeking a new apartment is over $2,000 a month. So, you know, something is really screwed up when that's happening. Plus, people are getting rent-evicted. You know, landlords are saying, we're going to renovate, and you have to get out. And when they come back, then the rent is really, really high. So that's happening all over the city. And people are basically at their wits' end, and we have to deal with it, right? We need a rent freeze, we need a mansion tax, we need lots more social housing, and we need to end homelessness.
Now, this by-election was an opportunity to raise issues, as many by-elections are, and you've done that. But it's a setup for next year's election, because that's where you're going to go all over again. You know, at your victory party afterwards, people are chanting Jean 2018. To go at it again, and people are ready to go at it again. So I don't know if you're ready to go at it again, but the issues are still there, and the election will happen. What are your thoughts about next year's campaign and what needs to be done to raise these issues again?
Well, I haven't officially decided to run. There's a lot of people that want me to run. I'm going to keep working on these issues. I've got a couple of city council dates down in my day timer to go up and talk about what they need to do for housing. And so I'm just gonna keep working for housing, and later on, you know, the election isn't for about a year, so I've got a few months here that I can see how things are gonna shake out and what I wanna do and how many people wanna work on the campaign, things like that.
Well, these issues are interconnected, obviously, everything intersects, and a lot of the things that your campaign touched on people argued are not civic responsibility, their provincial responsibility. So there's a new provincial government. What has the provincial government done? They've increased the welfare rate and the disability rate. Is that enough?
So, well, first of all, I don't buy that we can't do this because it's provincial responsibility.
Okay.
You know, in the 2014 election, COPE said we need a vacancy tax. Everybody said, oh, that's a provincial responsibility. Well, now the province has allowed the city to do that, and we have a vacancy tax. So that's exactly what has to happen with a mansion tax and with a rent freeze, and that's the way that it works. So what has the province done? They raised welfare by $100, so people still have $710, which isn't enough to eat and pay the rent. And people, so long as welfare is $710, we're going to have a lot of homelessness because it just isn't enough. What else have they done? They got rid of the fixed term lease loophole in the Landlord and Tenant Act, or at least that has been introduced, so theoretically that's going to be eliminated. That's good, but they haven't got rid of the part that says that whenever a tenant moves or dies or gets bought out or gets harassed out, the landlord can raise the rent as much as he wants, and that's a huge, huge, huge problem. And they haven't got rid of the part that says rents can go up by 3.7% this year and 4% next year. They need to get rid of that too, because rents are just too high. We're saying we need a rent freeze.
And there used to be rent controls, but they were saying there is, but there isn't, is there?
Well, it depends on how you define rent control, right? Like what we say is the rent control needs to apply to the unit, not the tenant. The way it is now, it just applies to the tenant. So when the tenant moves, the landlord can raise the rent to whatever they want. So that's not rent control because it pushes the rents, and it pushes rents up, and it also gives landlords an incentive to evict. So it's not very good for security of tenure. Yeah.
Well, you've been a long-time housing advocate, and this is not the first time you ran for city council. You ran for mayor before, and I guess you're going to keep on raising these issues into the next election. What else do you have to say before to the listeners and our viewers in terms of what are some of the issues and what should we look at for the next year's election?
Well, it's the same old, you know. We need to end homelessness. We need to do it now. Homeless people have half the life expectancy as other people. And any pressure that we can put on any level of government to get more money for modular housing now, because that's fast and it could get people off the street right away, and then social housing later for other people, that's huge. And we desperately need a big increase in the welfare rates. A huge increase in the welfare rates, and we need a rent freeze, and we need a mansion tax because it could fund a lot of this stuff. Yeah.
Well, Jean, congratulations on your campaign. It was very well done.
Thank you
to your
so much.
entire team.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll talk to you again before the next election.
Okay, doke. Thanks, Imtiaz.